on set. Places, everybody. And action.
It's time once again for the Hooked on Movies podcast. Today, we are continuing with our back to school theme. Today's movie is the 1994 comedy PCU. With me, as always, are Ken.
Excuse me, but can you blow me where the Pampers are?
And Ted.
Eric, you're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see? Don't be that guy.
I'm so guilty of that every time. And of course, I'm Eric. Rand McPherson, everybody. And don't forget the 9:30 show is completely different than the 7:30 show. Enjoy the veal. That's right. We're talking PCU, and if you haven't seen this movie, you're not the only one. It's a little hard to find, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah, it's for whatever reason, it's not on streaming. You could buy it on Amazon. I bought Ted a copy because he had never seen it before.
Or you could watch out a worn VHS copy like I did.
It's been on Amazon from time to time, but people are wondering, is it because of the music? Is it because of political views of this movie? Even though it's comedy, it does make fun of political views.
Yeah, it's not the political views of it. It's got to be the licensing for the music. That's the only thing I can think of.
Elvis Costello, George Clinton.
The reason why I would disagree with you on that is that it wouldn't come and go. It would just go. It wouldn't be on at all. But it sometimes comes up on Amazon and then it goes away. So I think there's something else going on there.
I have no idea. I have a hard time saying that it's the political.
It's weird.
Because why then would majorly controversial movies be able to be streamed?
And it's a comedy. It makes no sense. But for whatever reason, it's a hard one to find out there.
It's extremely hard.
It is extremely difficult to find. But hopefully, if you've watched this movie and you're listening to this podcast, great. But if you have not seen it and you have to go out there and get a copy of it, you might want to reach out to maybe Ted or myself or me, and maybe we can loan you a copy.
For a fee.
For a deposit, of course.
Well, I got my Blockbuster video right in my house. So
That's
come
right.
on down.
So, Ken, what's going on with you this week?
Not too much. I got into a new TV show.
A new TV show?
New.
Oh,
TV
new.
Show.
Okay.
The new TV show was the week before.
I see.
So the show is named A Discovery of Witches. It's had 3 seasons already on it, in the can, and I'm actually already watched the first season. I'm in season 2 already. I enjoy it. It's kind of like Harry Potter meets Twilight to a certain extent.
But you're selling me. What platform is it on?
It's on Netflix right now.
Okay.
So that's what I've been watching outside of the usual sports. Chicago
Any
Bears.
movies or anything?
I bought some new stuff, but I don't remember what I bought from even yesterday than today. So I bought PCU for Ted. So
there you go. That's right. And Ted, of course, PCU is obviously on your viewing palette this week. What else do you do?
Of course it was.
Yeah.
And as far as purchasing, I did buy a couple of movies. I bought Uncle Buck, Butch Cassidy, and The Sundance Kid.
Great movies.
Yep, and I bought the new Mad Max movie, Furiosa.
Okay.
As far as watching, I have not watched the new Furiosa yet, but I watched Boys in the Hood. I like Boys in the Hood. I'm a big John Singleton fan, but most of a lot's been sports. Watched a lot of sports this week.
Well, the NFL just started, so of course
Right.
we're getting into that one.
Yeah, and I also watched from the History Channel. It's called The Five Families.
Ooh.
And it's Michael Imperioli. It's a vehicle that's been put out by him.
He's from Sopranos.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
He helped put this thing together, and it's just like the history of the five families and the mob, the La Cosa Nostra. Interesting stuff. But
I did forget. I saw Beetlejuice.
Of course, I should have remembered that.
I mean, that might tell you how good it really was, but really, I thought it was good. It wasn't great. it's definitely watchable. I go to movies for popcorn. I mean, you can play me any type of movie as long as you give me a big tub of popcorn with butter on it. I'll sit there and watch it. But I would say it was a good sequel to the original. So it stays true to form of the original. But it didn't blow my socks away though either. Unlike like Deadpool versus Wolverine, like that blows my socks off. It's just good. Kind of reminded me of the new Ghostbusters movies, the last two of them. Were they as good as the first one? No. Are they watchable? Yes.
You know what I did watch? It's a new movie. It's I don't know how you would classify it. It's kind of like a Silence of the Lambs type. It's the movie Longlegs. It's still in theaters, but I was able to stream it through Plex. I was actually very enthralled by this movie. I won't give out anything about it, but it really captured me, and I enjoyed it tremendously. It's worth the time.
Time is subjective.
How about you, Eric? What have you been up to this week?
Well, I'm still continuing through season 2 of The Sopranos. Still trucking along there. I did watch 2 movies here. Ken actually mentioned one of them. I watched the latest Ghostbusters movie, Frozen World, or whatever the hell it's called.
Frozen Empire?
Yeah, it was okay. Marginal at best. Yeah. It was all right. It was better than I thought it would be, but if I never see it again, no lost cause. I know, Ken, we brought this one up, and I whipped out the old VHS on this one, going back to 1982 for Michael Keaton, Henry Winkler. You know the movie.
Night Shift.
Night Shift, that's right.
Night Shift. Comic
Gold, Night Shift. There's a very obscure movie that probably a lot of people out there don't know. So, one of Michael Keaton's earliest movies. And Shelley Long, too.
It works very well.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. It's a fun kind. I haven't seen it in probably 20, 25 years. So it was really good to kind of fire that up and watch it. So
what qualifies you, Eric, to review this movie today?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I have to give that one some thought.
Chased by a mob of people.
Meat
Eater.
Yes. My qualifications. Been on a college campus and have went to a college campus. I don't know. I'm sarcastic. I'm like David Spade.
Balls and Shaft.
Yeah, I'm in the secret fraternity of Balls and Shaft.
Gotcha.
So, what about you, Ted? What makes you qualified?
I have worn the T-shirt of a band that I went to see.
Oh, you know what? That's good. I've done that too. I'm guilty of that one.
Yeah,
don't be that guy. I have done that.
You don't want to be that guy, and you get
You're
told
right.
not to be that guy when you do that.
How about you, Ken?
College parties, I've been to them. I mean, we all have been to college parties and didn't have George Clinton playing at our,
no shit.
I used to go up to Northern Illinois and with people who went to school there and would party up there with them. So I'm a ex-party goer in my college age days.
And now he's gone soft, as we all have in our older age. And what are we doing? We're doing podcasts because that's what we do.
Exactly.
And if you're listening to this podcast, hopefully you're able to find it. We, of course, are hooked on _movies on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it.
Twitter.
We've got some great banter going on Facebook where all the old people are. Ken being one of them, who has some great conversations with other people on Facebook. Good articles there. Check it out.
You can always find out who's died.
That's separate. Well, no, I guess. No, you put that under both, don't you, Ken?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Yeah. All right.
This is so important for me to let everybody know who's passed away.
You're a running obituary.
I was fighting with Ken on this one because he wouldn't put Sergio Mendes on there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either.
James Earl Jones on there.
Well, James Earl Jones, yeah.
Why wouldn't you put Sergio Mendes on there?
Because I didn't know who he was until you told me who he was.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe. Do you know who Sergio Mendes is?
Sounds like a musical artist.
Oh, my goodness. You guys don't even know who he is?
Probably not. Was he in...
I don't want to talk about it. Just move on.
Okay, all right.
I can't believe you don't know who he is. You're going to piss off the listeners now.
No, I probably already have.
Did you post it on Facebook?
I will. Yeah.
You will?
Okay.
I'll put on the anti Hooked on Movies podcast obituary section.
Gotcha. There you go.
So it was really
Oh.
sad to see James Earl Jones die. You know, it's just that was just
He's 93.
yeah. But you know what? Because we've seen him recently in the Coming to America sequel, and he was on The Big Bang Theory, with a cameo, and he still voiced the Darth Vader character.
That Coming
up
to
till-
America sequel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no.
but he was still
Surprised that
voicing
didn't kill him.
Darth Vader. I mean, him and Morgan Freeman are kind of like the two guys that you would want to have them recite like what happened to you.
He was
Have
the voice of CNN for the longest time.
I was going to say, if you want to look up, there's an old David Letterman clip where he had his top 10 list.
Yes.
You seen that?
Oh yeah, I saw
yes.
that. I saw that this week. Yeah.
Yes,
It's hilarious.
it is. Things that are cool when James Earl Jones says them. And
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's worth your
beautiful.
time to just check that out.
All right. Well, let's dig on in here to the particulars, Ted. What do you got for us?
PCU is directed by Hart Bachner with a screenplay by Adam Leff and Zach Penn. It has a running time of 79 minutes. It has had a release date of April 29th, 1994. It had a budget of $8 million. And I don't know how they came up with this, but it had a box office gross of $4,330,020.
15 cents.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a critic score of 50% and an audience score of 75%. And on IMDb, it has a IMDb rating of 6.5%.
It's a cult favorite, of course.
Yes.
Killed at the box office. Jeremy Piven probably got 2 million of it.
No doubt. PCU stars from the people from the pit. Stars Jeremy Piven as James Draws Andrews, Chris Young as Tom Lawrence, Alex Desert as Mulaney, Jean Favreau as Gutter, Megan Ward as Katie, Gail Mayron as Cecilia, Matt Ross as Raji, Jake Grace and Darren Heems as the Daves, Stivy Peskoski as Deej, Jody Ratio as Pigman. As members of Balls and Shaft, David Spade as Rand McPherson, Kevin Jubinville as Carter Prescott, Thomas Mitchell as Bantam Draper, and then the establishment, Jessica Walter as President Garcia Thompson, Colin Fox as Trustee Number 1, and Larry Reynolds as Trustee Number 2. And then, of course, the one, the only, George motherfucking Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic.
All stars.
As themselves.
Yes.
As themselves.
Because George Clinton can only be himself.
Correct. Oh, you're not done.
Well, there's Gary Busey's son, Jake.
Yeah, as a very key factor in the movie.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Jerrytown kids.
The Jerrytown people.
The Jerrytown people are the best. What are you talking about?
He doesn't care about the Jerrytown.
Lord. Jake Busey. Yeah, this has to be Jake.
Jerrytown is what makes this movie.
This has to be one of Jake Busey's first roles.
Yes.
To
Okay,
brighten
so
up your day.
to appease you, Jake Busey as Mersh, Ted Cosma as Cosmo, and Theo Caldwell as the Giggler.
The giggler. I love the giggler.
And of course, fun fact, George Clinton wasn't the number one choice here. The number one choice was Nirvana. But Nirvana was
they weren't getting
too
Nirvana
expensive.
in 1994.
Yeah,
and plus,
not with an $8 million budget.
okay, the only reason... Okay, so this is not a fun fact at all, but this movie was sat on before it was released for a year. So, hypothetically, they could have gotten Nirvana. But had this movie been filmed just before it was released, that would never have been possible. Because Kurt Cobain was dead when this movie was released. that's one of those things that's kind of like, it's good for the movie that they didn't have Nirvana in it. The group that they were looking at was the Goo Goo Dolls.
But they weren't famous enough in the States at that time.
Nobody would have known who they were.
It's kind of funny because
nobody knows who they are now.
Well, I don't think anyone knows who George Clinton and P. Funkadelic is now, who's in college.
What?
In college. Oh, no.
Not now.
Not now.
George Clinton and the P. Funkadelic.
You're dating yourself, okay? It's not.
They are the shit.
To be honest, this was my introduction to George Clinton. Was this movie?
What? Come on now.
Hey, it wasn't in my wheelhouse of music at that time. It's not classic rock.
Ken, you don't like punk.
Funk. You bring the funk.
Aren't you a music major?
Come on, man.
And to this day, there's only 2 songs I know, and it's because of this movie. So that's just how it is. But I disagree with you. I think if they would have gotten Nirvana and then they released this around the time of his death, the movie would have done much better than $4 million. Yeah.
It would have been through the roof.
Would have been the right thing to do? Maybe not. But I mean,
the Goo Goo Dolls, it would have been just like a made up house band.
Right.
I like the Goo Goo Dolls.
My Johnson is 12 inches long.
That's who they should have got, right?
You like the Goo Goo Dolls?
Yeah, I don't hate the Goo Goo Dolls.
The only Goo Goo Dolls song I know is the one that was from City of Angels.
Iris.
Yes.
So
yeah, I don't like
that
with song.
The Goo Goo Dolls.
I don't like
but
that
then
song.
When I say what I said about George Clinton, I mean,
it's because George Clinton is a goddamn motherfucking icon. He is the icon of funk. He is the epitome of funk. He is funk. Don't even.
Normally, when people talk about musical classifications, funk does not come into that category.
Oh, come on!
All right, I got 2 words for you.
They're good. Don't get me wrong.
Sergio Mendes. Okay,
Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh
man.
my goodness,
they're funk, man. Come on, everybody knows who Sly and the Family Stone is.
You've never heard of Sergio Mendes in Brazil
maybe
66?
4 songs from Sly and the Family Stone. I know who they are, but doesn't mean I know their work.
Sly and the Family Stone played at Woodstock.
But the college kids today don't know who they are. We can agree on that.
Then they're fucking stupid.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
Then they need to stop protesting shit and start listening to music.
But this whole movie is about protesting. Boom!
Exactly.
Great segue.
We aren't going to talk about the first time we saw this movie?
I guess we should. Dude, I saw this in the theater.
Did you really?
Yep.
Wow.
I saw this.
You were the $20.
I was the $20. I saw this. I saw the trailer for this movie on a prior movie, and I went, "Oh my god, that looks hysterical!" And I was not disappointed. So much that I went out and bought the VHS copy that I still have today.
I saw this, of course, on cable.
What a shock you did!
Because I didn't see the trailer, so I felt like there was not a lot of publicity for this movie.
I don't remember what movie I saw. This is back when it came out in 94. I probably saw it in 93 or 94, the other movie. This is back when you had like 10 or 15 minutes of movie trailers before a movie instead of those stupid commercials they run now.
Oh, man. I'm telling you right now, when we saw Beetlejuice over the weekend, 30 minutes. The movie was supposed to start at 10:45.
Yeah.
It's 11:15, and the movie hadn't started yet.
Are they running commercials?
All ads and commercials.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
It is. I mean, I went to my wife and I showed her my watch. I'm like, didn't this start at 10:45? You know, it's crazy.
You can't even see trailers. I love trailers. I don't want to see Coke commercials and Skittles and local car dealerships and stuff.
They got an Oreo Coke Zero now. I guess we're gonna have to try that.
Good luck with
or
that.
We don't have to.
Yeah,
or we don't have to. It's a big thing. And of course, Ted. Virgin.
I saw this because Ken bought it for me.
Yeah,
actually, until I met Ken, I didn't know this movie existed.
Yeah, it's not a popular one out there.
And I don't know why I didn't know this movie existed, because like you, Eric, I was going to a lot of movies in 93 and up until 94, and I never saw the trailer for this movie. Otherwise, I would have been all in on this movie, even if it did have Jeremy Piven in it.
See, I don't hate Jeremy Piven like you do.
I don't like Jeremy Piven.
I like him in movies like Judgment Night. That's a fun movie.
Okay. The Goods.
It's great. Dennis Leary.
He was
and-
actually-
The Goods
he
is
was-
a great movie.
He was actually funny in The Goods. I will give him that.
but he has that kind of Goods personality in this too. That sarcastic,
Yes.
don't care.
Yes.
Yes, that's the Jeremy
Yes.
Piven I like.
Yeah.
Yes, the Goods.
I guess he's a real asshat in
yeah.
real life.
Oh, I hear he is completely.
He and
which is
David
fine.
Schwimmer, who I guess are pretty close friends.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I remember-
And David Schwimmer, I guess, is a real piece of work in real
David
life.
Schwimmer off the Friends. I remember when Friends is out. I saw in the theater the movie The Pallbearer.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
goodness! In the theater.
I'm
Gwyneth
sorry, you
Paltrow.
went to the movie theater to see that piece of shit?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
George Clinton is frowning upon that
Yes,
particular
it was a
choice.
horrible. Oh,
So since we're talking about Jeremy Piven, I'll give you some production notes really quick. So
Alright.
Jeremy Piven contracted malaria during the filming of this movie.
in
So
Connecticut.
How the fuck
Yeah.
you got malaria in Connecticut?
it's not in Connecticut. They filmed it in Toronto.
Still, okay, that's even worse. It's even farther
Malaria.
north.
I don't know.
It's like
But
they were
some-
shooting it in the Congo or something.
Yes.
So if you watch from like one scene to another scene, like if you look at him at the end of the movie, he's about 8 pounds lighter, and it kind of shows a little bit.
Wasn't looking
Alright.
at his weight, but okay,
Yeah, me neither. But
that's crazy.
For
Malaria.
other
Malaria.
people that were considered for this movie, Steve Zahn,
yeah,
I can see
he's
that.
for the
he
role of
wasn't.
Tom.
I can see that. Yeah.
Ashley Judd,
Ashley Judd, yeah.
yeah,
Why
not for
not?
the role of Tom though. That would have
No,
been
not for the role of Tom. Right.
No. Yeah, not Tom.
They
Michelle?
liked Ashley, but they didn't feel like she was right. But you know what? Ashley Judd was really nice to look at
She was,
in
and
1993.
Still
in that she was
hot.
pretty hot stuff, box
She's
office
still
wise
hot.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
I mean,
so
this
she
movie's
was,
got mostly a bunch of nobodies in it. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, except for
Rich-
Jeremy Piven and John
David
Favreau.
Spade.
And David Spade, yeah.
But they were still not known commodities.
Right.
In fact, this is Jeremy Piven's, I think, first and one of the few leading roles that he's ever had. I want to say this was before like Tommy Boy, and when did Tommy Boy come out?
It would have been a couple years after this, like 96,
Right.
97.
So Spade wasn't like a
Or 95.
box
He's a
office-
stand-up. He's a stand-up
Probably.
comedian.
Ooh. Would he have joined the cast of Saturday Night Live the fall after this movie came out?
I think so.
Or
I think he
would it have
did.
been the before? I wonder if what got this movie, because like I said, they sat on this movie for a year. I wonder if his
His SNL
appearances
affiliation.
exactly
It
is
could
what
be.
eventually got them to release the movie.
Well,
into the
actually,
movie
he was
theaters.
on Saturday Night Live from 1990 to 1996.
Oh, so he was an
So
SNL
he
member.
was already established then.
Yeah,
Well, he would have been a guest appearance, or he would have been a
Featured player.
contract player.
feature
or
player,
Feature
feature
player.
player.
along with Chris Rock
Yeah.
and Chris Farley, and yeah,
Interesting.
because they didn't become permanent
Usually 3 years in.
cast members,
Yeah.
until like 93.
Well, a bunch of them got released in '94, and
Yeah,
he
Rock
stayed on.
did, and I know that's when Rock got released.
So he
I
stayed on
think
for
that's
one more
when-
season.
I think that's when Julia Louis-Dreyfus got released too.
Oh no, she was
That was a
80s.
long
She
time
was
ago.
she was
Sarah
80s.
Sarah Silverman.
Sarah
got
Silverman
released.
Sarah
maybe
Silverman,
no.
okay,
yeah.
Dreyfus
That's
is
one thing.
80s. Long gone. She was part of that mid 80s cast that didn't do too well.
Yeah, we don't talk about the mid-80s cast anymore.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And originally, this movie was supposed to have a rated R.
I
No.
would have liked to have seen the rated R version.
I think an R version would have been better.
I don't know. Back then, studios wanted to go with PG-13 type of movies.
right, because they wanted to get kids
Kids
under
in,
age
yeah.
under age 17.
And I guess there's a cut, but I guess we'll never be seen where they have the rated R version out there, but it'll never be released.
That's
So
too bad. I wish they would. I wish the director would push to have it released. At least like on a Blu-ray special edition Blu-ray type of thing.
On your disc, Ted, were there any additional scenes? Any?
No, not really.
no additional scenes. Commentary from the director
Yeah,
and Jeremy Piven.
commentary. Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't
So-
want to listen to Jeremy Piven for 79 minutes.
Yeah.
Not by himself, at least. It was kind of weird listening him talk about it. But that's what
Okay.
I have for
All right.
some
Okay.
production notes.
Okay.
So now you can go ahead and tell us about the beginning of this movie.
Beginning of the movie.
The setup.
Preppy pre-freshmen, or pre-frosh as they're normally called, Tom Lawrence visits Port Chester University, known as PCU, a college where fraternities have been outlawed and political correctness is rampant. During his visit, accident-prone Tom makes enemies with nearly every group of students and thus spends much of his visit evading the growing mob after him. During his visit, Tom finds himself in the middle of a war between the Pit and Balls and Shaft, two rival groups. Among the members of the latter is Rand McPherson, who, with the other Balls and Shaft members, want the outlawed Greek system to return. Meanwhile, the Pit runs the former Balls and Shaft frat house in a highly disorganized manner. Inhabited by seniors Gutter and Mulaney, mid-year freshman co-ed Katie, and led by multi-year senior James Draws Andrews, the Pit is a party-centric house that rebels against politically correct protest, their counter-protest, and parties are frequent source of complaint forms. Other factions on campus include a commune-style house of pot users called Jerrytown that Gutter frequents, a radical feminist group known as the Womanists, an Afrocentric group suspecting everyone conspiring against them, and college president Miss Garcia Thompson, who is obsessed with enforcing sensitivity awareness and multiculturalism to an extreme. She has a plan to change the campus mascot to a whooping crane instead of an offensive Native American character during their bicentennial anniversary. Wow. That's like the whole movie.
It would seem, right?
It does
Yeah, that's
seem that
almost
way.
the whole
That's
movie.
a good synopsis of the whole movie in a very political correct way, actually, if you think about some of the descriptions of the groups.
In the last two movies, one of the big questions that we've asked is, would this get made today? This movie could so get made today.
Oh, clearly,
and
be
I'm
amped
surprised.
up. And be amped up.
And I'm surprised
Yeah.
that this hasn't been remade for today.
Total different cast.
Yeah, because...
yeah.
No, same cast.
Oh, same, of
yeah,
course.
same cast.
David Spade needs to work. So
Yeah, David Spade needs the work. I was in college, maybe 4 years after this movie. The college I went to was nothing like this. As far as the protests, I mean, this is really overboard. And
yes,
I'm I'm shocked that they were able to come up with as many types of organizations as they were able to come up with. Now, granted, I understand and I know, because I'm a fan of Bill Maher, I know that he started Politically Incorrect on Comedy Central around this time. So I know what political correctness was, but it was not nearly as out of control as it is today. And the fact that they were able to come up with all these different groups is amazing. It's foreshadowing, in my opinion, as to what was to come. So this movie could totally get remade today. Well, there's two ways they could go about it. They could go about it the conservative way and just not have it be funny at all, or have it be funny and making fun of. Yes. But it's pretty prescient. I will say, to start the movie off, we could have done completely without Tom's character.
I think we could have had a better character in Tom. I'm not a big fan of the Tom character. I don't know. I guess he comes off okay, but he doesn't have... It's not like I'm rooting for him when all these bad things start to happen to him.
I'll tell you when I start to root for him.
Okay. But I'm not really rooting for him really at the beginning of this movie at all. His character is just kind of blah. And I know it's probably supposed to be that way because we don't want him to have a bigger personality than the rest of the people in the pit. The people in the pit are personality. Them and the other characters that are out there. And so maybe you do need kind of like a baseline character like Tom. I just wish you had somebody that was just a little bit more likable.
He's almost like a MacGuffin.
You think so? You think he's a MacGuffin? Just any character?
He keeps moving the plot along a little bit further and further. Like he of course is the one that unplugs all of the computers,
Right.
which, wow.
That was a
Yeah,
little
ludicrous.
dated. A little dated.
A little dated.
Little
Holy
dated,
shit,
yes.
man. Yeah, because he keeps getting himself into trouble.
Like we said earlier in this podcast, Steve Zahn was one of the ones considered for this role. I think
Yeah.
if you gave it to him,
Yeah,
he
possibly.
would have been able to pull off a more sympathetic yet funny character than what we get here.
Steve Zahn today or Steve Zahn back then?
Well,
'Cause
back then.
he was annoying.
But that's
I don't
kind of
know,
what you want.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah. You
I mean,
want that annoying pre-frosh.
Yeah, he doesn't come off as being really anything. I mean,
No, he's
But he-
just
but he
kind of
does-
milquetoast.
but he does set up everybody else up. So when he comes in, he's
He is Whitey McWhiterson.
I like the intro of the movie where he's walking down the hall and you kind of see how the college has gone downhill from like the
The pictures on the
1950s
wall.
photos, and it just
Yeah.
got to like 69 and then the 80s and the 90s. It just
got the
gets
Polaroid
progressively
at the end
yeah,
and it just
and falls on the
right off
ground. Progressively worse and worse. I thought that was kind of funny.
Weren't the early ones? Wasn't that the balls and shaft?
Yeah, that was the
Group-
prestige.
okay,
It's like,
yeah,
the
yeah,
all white school, the balls and shaft, and then you get like
Well-
the Woodstock one where they're all,
Right.
Well, that's because the fraternities in the mid '60s were then banned.
We're out. We're
Right,
outlawed.
yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, because PCU it has a double meaning, of course, because of course it's politically correct university,
Port Chester
but it's
University.
also Port Chester
Yes,
University. Yes, but it is politically correct university.
Correct.
Because everybody has a cause
An agenda.
and
for,
an
for about a
agenda, right.
week.
For
about
about
a week. The
ex-
cause
Yes,
heads.
exactly.
the cause heads, yes.
Exactly.
Which we didn't really give them their benefit, and I love the cause heads, and we
Yes.
didn't talk.
Yeah, they're annoying as shit.
That's
Oh, I
they're
love
supposed
them.
to be annoying as shit. That's because they're cause heads.
I
Right.
would have totally been throwing meat at them. That's
That was way more than 100 pounds of meat.
yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that Tom is taking interest to Katie because she's young and cute.
Sophomore, isn't she? Or is she a frosh too?
She's a actually freshman.
Okay.
Where,
Yeah, she's a freshman. Yeah,
Yeah, in
she's
fact,
got a nice ass though.
I guess
As Tom is aware of.
As Tom
Yes.
finds that out.
Well,
That's the first time I start to root for Tom. I'm like, all right, Tom, all right, I see what you're doing.
we also don't see Tom a lot. Every time we see Tom, he's getting chased.
Right.
See Tom run.
See Tom
See
run.
Tom run with ball.
Yeah.
This was basically Jeremy Piven's movie. It's
pretty
Draws.
much.
He is an interesting character. When he goes sees him, he's got that cigarette in his mouth.
Mhm,
It's actually
yeah.
not. It's not filled with tobacco. It's
No,
he's
it
got.
should have been filled with pot. Is what it should have been filled with.
Wow. I guess they had ground up fruit in there and put that in
How
there
the
for him
fuck
to
is
smoke.
he smoking fruit?
I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's really weird that they did it that way.
Yeah, he's
But he-
a weird human being.
I would like to have known a little bit more. He's been there for like 7 years.
7 years.
He's Bluto.
He is
Bluto,
Bluto.
but
He
he's
is.
an intelligent Bluto because he is smart. He has these term papers that he sells.
Yes.
In fact, he's kind of worried about who this
I love
person is because he's thinking,
Yeah.
maybe he's here to buy a term paper, and he's been pimped by emissions, as he says.
Sanskrit.
But actually,
You're majoring in a 10,000-year-old dead language.
language, right?
Mhm.
Get out of here.
Which that is a criticism of modern day colleges and universities.
Yeah.
That was never talked about back in the 90s. It's like they knew the future and of what people would criticize colleges and universities about. The only thing we didn't get was a group of professors like preaching quote unquote indoctrinating.
And the funny thing is, you
students.
never see any classroom scenes
Exactly.
in this. There's
Yeah.
not one.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically a day in the life.
It's a day in the
of-
life, yeah.
Right.
and it's pretty much a Friday
Yeah.
because it's a weekend. They're done with class, and class is never before 11.
Of course.
Beer is your best friend. You have a car? No. Find someone in your hall and make friends with them.
Yes.
So
On the first day.
those are on the first
Yes,
day. So these
yes.
are the rules of college, and they make sense.
Yeah, you do. Clearly.
They-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually do.
And Dross, of course, doesn't want to do
Be
take care of
careful.
him.
Be careful of the beer is your friend role of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. Well, that's probably why Droz has been there for 7 years because beer has been his best friend. He's smart, but he's also lazy, I guess. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Van Wilder.
Oh, I
You know.
love Van Wilder.
Where
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
little bit.
he was there 7 years too.
and so kind of a little bit of don't want to face the world quite yet. So taking his time and living on college, because in college he's kind of like what everybody looks up to. At least in that house, he's the leader,
Yes.
and it's hard to give that leadership away. As we saw in Van Wilder, he doesn't want to give up his leadership either. It's his dad, I think, at the end that kind of forces him to get his degree. I was a little disappointed about his best friend, is it Mulaney? Because he doesn't have a lot of time here, but he seems to be second in charge. He's kind of the boon in this movie.
Yeah.
But he set up really nicely because he's the one that gets back at him for the dog biscuits coming back from summer break. And he gets back, by making him be somebody to show the pre-frost around.
Right.
Which he kind of tries to pass it off to other people, which is kind of fun because then we get to meet, the other characters in the group, especially Gutter. Gutter's a very interesting character.
Great Jon Favreau.
Out of all the people on this cast, Jon Favreau has been the one that
Most successful.
most successful.
Acted and directed, yeah. He's
Especially
top
now
tier.
with the Star Wars stuff, people are looking at him.
Iron Man. I mean, he's the bomb.
He's come a long way. You wouldn't think of it with this type of performance. I mean, it's not a bad performance at all. But it's not one that screams out that he's going to be one of the best directors and best creators of original material out there.
Who would have thought, right? I wonder if people walk down the street and say that. Can you blow me where the Pampers are? I think if I met him, I would use that line.
No, but I bet they go, Vegas, baby. I guarantee you they say that to him all the time from Swingers.
And ironically, Swingers not one of my favorite movies.
Really? I like Swingers. It's a good movie.
And I love the cast. I love everyone in it. I just could not get into it. Yeah, I know.
That happens
I enjoy
sometimes.
it.
I tried. I wanted to like Swingers so much.
Vegas, baby. There's some money and you don't even know it.
I love when he shows them how college works, and they go out and they got everybody protesting.
Yes,
gays in the military, save Mandela, and it's like they've already
released them. Yeah,
they already released.
Mandela's already been released.
Yeah, right. It's this all these causes, and then he gets to the womanist. Yeah, I think it's just a good setup to show what they're up against. It may be like we said, probably for 93, 94, it's kind of like ahead of its time. Because
it's hyped up for
way
94.
ahead of its
way
time.
hyped up.
Yes, but now you're like, well, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah. yeah.
Can you tell her that Mr. Pokey came by?
Right.
So
talk about his phallus.
And of course, one of his ex-girlfriends has to be in the womenist.
Yes.
And that character is kind of lame too. It's another character maybe we don't need either. If we took her out, there would be nothing
to look at.
Well, I mean, she's okay to look at, but I mean, her character really doesn't
do much
for the movie.
She helps save the party.
But you could have had anybody say, "Hey, this sounds like a kick-ass party. Let's just bail." You could have had anybody do that.
True.
So we don't know why she joined the womanist.
Yeah, it makes no sense because she doesn't seem to be lesbian or anything like that.
You don't have to be a lesbian to be in the womanist group. I mean, they make a joke about he dated a white male.
Yes, I know.
So I was a freshman. Oh, fresh.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Here again, another term you would have thought that you would hear today.
Yeah.
The character is just weird. It's fine, I guess. It doesn't hurt the movie, but it doesn't help it in any type of way. When it really starts to get fun is the cause heads. They're out there protesting meat. And it's cool.
It was nuclear energy before, wasn't it? The week before, and now it's meat. They're like, oh, I'm hungry.
Chili dogs?
Yeah.
Nope, it wasn't chili dogs. It was chili burgers.
Chili burgers.
And then you got the protest. You got the cows in the middle, and they're like,
dressed up. Don't eat me. Yes.
So funny.
And they're kind of doing like a 60s kind of dance right there. And
you have
the head of it is Moonbeam.
Right.
Moonbeam, yes.
Moonbeam, I like your style.
Yes.
So, and then they got the paint that gets thrown on there.
Yeah, the red paint.
But them throwing the meat on top of them is funny. It's great.
And the people freak out. That's the funny thing. They're like, it's like dumping acid on them. Like,
Not meat.
not me.
Meat thrower.
Now it'd be a vegan protest.
Oh,
So,
yeah, clearly.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's what it is.
They're vegans.
If they finally
Hmm.
come and say that they're vegans, and that's why they're protesting.
Back in 93, 94, I never
And-
heard of a vegan.
I had, but it had been on TV or some shit. I don't know.
Now I live with one.
Look at
trying to
That's
trying to
your
figure that all out.
that's your cross to bear.
Buy,
Yes,
buy
sir.
buy a big huge grill to cook meat on, and wife decides to go vegan. So
Ay.
fun times.
Maybe she should watch PCU with you.
I think she's actually seen it a long time ago, though.
We did mention Jennifer Walter, right? As
Jessica
the pres-
Walter.
Jessica Walter, yes, I'm sorry. Most famous, obviously, now for Arrested Development.
Right.
Yes.
Beautiful, just classic in Arrested Development. Oh, but she's kind of playing the same character in every role. That's the
Kind of, yeah.
Yes. So you have the administration. It's like sensitivity training and this, that, and the other.
It seems like that the administration has really bought into the whole politically correct movement, to say the least, which is also kind of shocking. When I was in college back
in my day,
yeah, I mean, we didn't get offended by anything, and we didn't protest anything. It just didn't happen on campus. It's weird.
It's something that I didn't experience either, and this would have been around the time frame that I would have been going to college, and I actually was in and out of colleges at that time, junior colleges and stuff like that, and trade schools. But I was going up, like I said, to NIU during this time frame, and I had never experienced any type of things like this. However, as the years have gone by,
it's out of control.
I mean, I understand the need for it.
So,
but it's kind of,
so Ken, do you think that bisexual Asian student studies should have its own building?
well, it's a question. Do we want to get rid of the math team or the hockey team?
Exactly.
So, the fact that she actually brought off the math team
yeah,
in that conversation.
yes, which is very un-PC.
Right.
I like how they introduce the different groups and everything. Draws never really brings me in as a character. He always seems like he's a narrator more than anything. It's the people around him that have interesting things to do.
I like his banter with David Spade.
Yes, no, they play very well off of each other.
What is that? He's like he captained Hitler's catamaran or something.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, that's really good. They do have some really good back and forth there, and I like how they do the David Spade thinking back about how things were when they first were roommates.
Oh, the flashback when he's
the flashback, and you can totally tell that he's overly exaggerating everything.
Yes.
Well, it's actually not him that's over exaggerating. It's actually Draws that's actually
true.
doing it.
Draws,
Yeah.
So it's his thought about what happened back then. So that makes you wonder what.
And he's
Actually, Jeremy
total
Piven kind of
nightmare.
injured his hand during all that.
Yeah, I guess
he
he
did
did.
some crazy stuff
Yeah,
in that little scene. Draws is supposed to be a seventh year student. I can't see that being the same thing for Rand. They were talking about, that's your freshman roommate, isn't it? Was it like the second, third year freshman year? I mean, I don't think they got the years right.
Or is Rand just staying in to become the young conservatives?
And that's the thing. This is a comedy, so I don't want to go too deep into thinking about this.
Right.
But if these guys are graduating, why are they so insistent about worrying about what's going to happen to their places? There's one problem with the Draws character is if they lose the house, that doesn't affect Draws at all.
No.
He's done. He's graduating. He's Casper. He's gone.
I guess it's just he wants his friends to be able to have somewhere to live.
I would have liked it if he was staying one more year. But I think the fact of you look at Jeremy Piven and David Spade and you cannot say that these are 21, 22-year-old guys.
No.
So they make him 7-year student. So to make
Kind of have to, right? Yeah.
Right.
And they really make up Jon Favreau to not look as old as he is either.
I think the only person that was actually of college age was actually Chris Young. So he was 22 years old at the time. Whereas Spade, I think, was 29.
Jeez.
Piven was 28, if memory serves me correct.
Yeah, something like that.
But it's fun. You get Tom gets chased by and he gets hit by the door, and then Balls and Shaft bring him in and kind of like try to make a decision on can he be
Whether
trusted.
or not they should he should be sacrificed or something.
Looking at his clothes.
Of course,
I love it
skull and bones.
when they pull him in there and David Spade's at the door and they give him those questions. Our greatest U.S. president.
I would have figured it would have been Nixon.
Yeah.
Maybe based on the age and when this came out.
They killed Jesus Christ. The Jews.
Open up,
sucko.
That's when you knew that they were skull and bones.
Total elitist.
Yes.
I love it.
What was it? The first question was
what is it?
Comfortable. What kind of comfortable shoe?
No, the second one is a casual shoe for yachting.
Yeah.
A blucher or something. Yeah.
Those questions are hilarious.
Yes. And David Spade's sarcasm is perfect on him. Yeah.
He's having done to him what his most famous character from Saturday Night Live does to everybody else when he plays the secretary.
Or the airline attendant.
Yes.
Or when he doesn't let people in, he's like, no.
Right.
Spade is a very important part of this. Spade kind of makes this movie go. He's the perfect foil.
And his relationship with Garcia Thompson.
Oh, gosh.
Ooh, summary outfit. What is that, Dacron? Yeah.
I love their whole interaction back and forth.
The Information Republican.
Yes.
Well,
how
they're
about
both
Afternoon
opposites.
Delight being played over and over again?
That is hilarious.
Yes.
That was fun.
I think that's in our second part of our...
Yeah. I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean...
Tom shouldn't have survived ruin all those theses.
Oh, yeah, the girl.
He trips over he should have been dead right there. There's no way that he could outrun all those people. Eventually, they would have to
they would
kill him.
And all of those theses would have been gone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no backup back then.
In
and
94.
And those type of computers, none.
It's one main hard drive, pretty much.
You were screwed.
Yeah.
And that would have been enough to make you want to kill somebody.
Oh, sure. If you're working on for
there
hours.
Probably wouldn't have been a jury that would have convicted you.
And you could still smoke in buildings at that point, too.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I think it's interesting how they did separate Tom from the pit being by himself. I think it
was
works.
Dumb, in my opinion.
I think it works.
Yeah?
I think it works. Because
Right.
I think the ongoing thing is them all chasing Tom throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I could have done without that.
I think it's fine.
It ends up serving its purpose, but it's a long, drawn-out joke that doesn't pay off until the end.
When they
It
need
does pay off
the
at
people.
the end.
But then it's not funny.
But here's the thing. His character is not good enough to be along with the pit for the whole ride. I'm not trying to rip on Chris Young because I don't think it was a bad performance. I just think the way that character is written, you don't need him in the pit because it would just bring the pit down a little bit.
Don't need him in general.
Well, he doesn't really blend in with the pit at all. He's balls and shaft material, but he doesn't have the balls and shaft conscience that they have.
Yeah, he has a conscience. And ultimately, if we're looking at a point to the movie, it's not to make necessarily to poke fun or make fun of the PC people. It's to poke fun at Balls and Shaft.
Yes, which is a great
to
name.
show the complete
Balls and Shaft.
How they don't give a shit about anybody.
Correct.
They're willing to step on anybody and use anybody to get what they want. That's the whole point of this. It's just interesting how they get to that point. Like they had a crystal ball and seen the future about how everything is.
It's like
crazy.
The Simpsons predicting the future.
Yeah.
And all their little episodes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which that's creepy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Considering some of those episodes were in the early 90s.
Yeah, right on.
Eric's favorite group, Jerrytown over here.
Oh, gotta love Jerrytown. Gotta love Jerrytown.
If you were in college, you knew these people.
I knew a few. Not to that extreme, but it was just the room.
Were you a member of Jerrytown?
No, I was not a member of Jerrytown.
Oh,
but
come on now.
No, but that room was just classic. All they needed was like an iguana in a cage or something.
They had
Everybody
Otter,
knew this
the
room.
Frisbee catching dog.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Lauder.
And the fact that they're playing
Lauder.
the fact that they're playing frisbee.
Of course.
Back when I was in college, it wasn't frisbee; it was hack-a-sack.
Oh, hack-a-sack.
Everybody
Hacky
played
sack.
with a hacky sack.
Which they probably still play with there, too. But the
At the
banter.
Olympics, nobody wins
banter.
because they're all losers.
Right.
I love that one. I use that line all the time.
Yes.
Doesn't matter who wins because they're all losers. I use that line
it's
all the time.
Jerrytown. Everybody knew these guys, and everybody knew that room, and that's exactly what that room looks like.
It was.
Right.
It doesn't even have a name. It's just
The
a
only
big
thing
letter.
the only thing that room didn't have up was a Bob Marley Rastafarian flag. Everyone got
You need an iguana in a tank? Yeah, getting the iguana high? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was on a college tour with my mom and dad, and we walked by this room, and they had the Bob Marley Rastafarian flag up. And that's why my mom and dad told me not to go to this place.
Oh, but you went anyway.
I won't say what college it was.
Okay.
I don't think the college is actually in functioning anymore. But
Uh-oh.
anyway.
So some other characters out there. You have Cecilia.
Breaking my
who
heart.
Plays what, like a bass guitar or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she plays bass.
She's all right. I mean, I like her character. Wish we had a little bit more. She's kind of her own person.
The whole band,
kinda
you don't
cool.
really know anything about them.
The guy who plays the drummer actually was in an HBO comedy show. It was about Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley?
Yeah, Silicon Valley. That's
Is that what
it
it's
was.
called?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there you go.
I
He
did
was
not know
actually
that.
very funny in that show. He played like a Jeff Bezos type character.
I like it when they're trying to come up with names
Yes.
For the-
yes.
for the
The
band.
name of the band, yeah.
Everybody gets laid.
They're totally grunge
Oh, yeah.
band names.
Oh, clearly. And they're a grunge band.
totally. Yeah.
There are some influences of Metallica because he says play Metallica. And
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And
So-
the one guy looks just like Kirk Hammett. I mean,
Yes.
and he does. Also, too, it's funny the name of the band that Gutter's going to see is called the Merkins. I think that's pretty
The
funny
Merkins,
too.
yes.
I get confused by all that with them, and then seeing George Clinton. It just
Well,
seems like
they were supposed to go to a punk band concert
right.
for the Merkins, which is very close to the punk band named the Melvins. Because he was going to go with the Jerrytown guys,
The
because
Hartford.
they were going to go see George Clinton in the P Funkadelic.
in Hartford, but the bus
And-
driver got lost.
But
And the
he
funny
was gonna,
thing is
he
that
was
Gutter
gonna
has
go to
no
the
idea who he
Merkins.
is.
Right. Yeah, that's so funny.
Aren't you a music major?
Yeah, right.
because he's into punk rock.
Yeah,
The Merkins, or AKA the Melvins.
yeah. Except for anything before 1989 or something.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there was recorded music before 1989.
You got the Daves, which they're just there, and then you got Pigman.
The thesis.
Yeah, that
Hackman,
I don't get that
thesis?
at all. Yeah.
I could understand it to a certain extent because you could major in Game Boy if
You can bullshit enough. Has anyone ever
Sometimes
seen the
that's
movie Dress to Kill? The shower scene?
No.
No, that's his finishing statement, right?
No.
He was able.
No.
His finishing statement was a bridge too far.
Right.
Oh, Bridge Too Far.
Yeah.
Dress to Kill was
Hackman
shower
and
scene, yeah. Michael
Gene
Caine.
Hackman and
Michael Caine together in the same movie. He's like,
Yeah.
"No,"
I guess
blows,
that is a star-studded.
blows his
movie from
mind.
what I know.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
So,
It's a World War II movie.
Yes.
yeah, the Pigman was kind of a weird character. I don't know of anybody who. I mean, I knew people who were.
I thought he was a
obsessed with it.
burnout. I thought he was like an acid taker. That's what he was doing.
That
It
would've made
looked
more
like
sense.
it. It would,
It would've
right.
made more
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Just completely zoned out watching the TV because his brain is fried.
Anybody who's been to enough college parties, you know the person that's done that
Correct.
because they're sitting at the TV staring at it. Or they're on the couch saying that there's spiders on the floor.
Spiders on the floor. Pins and needles. Pins and needles.
All right. Why don't we move
Going to the
on?
build. Yeah, let's do it. So Garcia Thompson conspires behind closed doors with Balls and Shaft to get the established residents of the pit kicked off campus and give Rand control of the house. She provokes the pit residents with a damage bill for their past semester. Left unpaid, the campus would seize their house, leaving them homeless and unable to continue attending PCU without getting jobs. The pit responds by throwing a party to raise funds needed. The womanists take offense to the pit's flyers advertise the party and hold a protest outside as the house residents conspire to steal alcohol and convince students to attend. The party at first appears to be a failure. However, a series of unlikely events results in George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic performing at the party. Students begin streaming in initially to seize Tom for his prior mistakes, and the party successfully raises the funds to keep the house. Garcia Thompson, after being locked in a room by Draws with the song Afternoon Delight playing on repeat, decides to act on the many complaints against the pit. She shuts down the party, expels the residents of the pit in spite of their fundraising efforts. Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
And this is where George Clinton steals the movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because he is the man.
I wouldn't say he steals the movie, but he does elevate it. It does work that they got George Clinton. The music is perfectly neat, placed where everybody who enjoys a good party can like it.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you had somebody like Nirvana or Goo Goo Dolls or something like that, I don't think you have the same feel, the same vibe. So I think the George Clinton,
You wouldn't have got the black kids involved.
No.
it just fits everybody. You don't have to be a fan of funk to enjoy this music.
Because it's great dance music.
It's great party music. I think they've lucked out by getting George Clinton. I'm happy they weren't able to get Nirvana because, like I said, I don't think it works out. But I
or my Johnson's 12 inches long.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, Katie, you're a freshman. Get 2,000 people. What are you guys doing? Well, we're seniors. We're going to the game. So
yes, and the game is frisbee.
Frisbee,
yes.
Frisbee, yeah.
Full tackle frisbee too.
Full tackle, yeah.
Oh, she clotheslines them.
But
Stiff
the best
arm.
is when they bring the dog out. Come on
Water.
now. That's awesome.
Water. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
The dog is awesome.
Then the womanists are shown the flyer.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
I love it when they show
Everybody
it to
gets laid.
tonight at the pit. Everyone
Everybody
gets laid. But
It's a
I love
great
it when
marketing tool.
when he brings the flyer to President Garcia Thompson.
Oh yeah, the guy's like, I've done some collage work before. Yes.
Right.
I think what they did was impose your head. I've done some collage work in the past. Yes. He's like, BD, don't talk. Yeah.
The look on her face
Yes.
is just like,
Yes.
it's
like,
priceless.
My God, what
What a
are these
moron.
people doing?
Yes.
Even though David Spade is racist and homophobic and all this other stuff, he does come off at least becoming somewhat intelligent. But the rest of Balls and
the
Shaft
morons. Yes.
seem like they're morons.
Yes.
I mean, how can you let somebody steal a whole bar?
Yes. That is great.
No,
How do you not
away
hear
from
that,
you.
right? It's a little over the top. Yes.
Yeah, how they
but
go about to get the beer and the alcohol and everything.
I like how they're towing the bar behind the car, and it comes to a stop, and of course, nothing breaks on the bar.
Exactly.
Not one bottle. It's okay.
It doesn't look like they drove it that way, and it looked like it slowed down enough. I don't know how they did it. I don't know. It looked like it was actually done that way.
And it ended up right in the next parking spot.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
The part where Gutter ends up finding George Clinton,
He falls asleep.
he falls asleep and he has a nightmare and everything like that. And Ted Kennedy and Orrin Hatch and our future president, Joe Biden, is in there too, are all interrogating him and everything. And
it's a stupid scene, yes.
It's stupid. But it ends up with...
It's the gut, man.
It ends up with George Clinton. It's like...
I just want to use the bathroom. Do you know
It's
who that
awesome.
is? Don't charge these guys, man. They're just using the bathroom. Yes.
Yeah, I would say that the dream is probably my least favorite part in the whole movie. It's something that I would get up and... If I need to go get a snack, that was the time to go get the snack. But I do like everything before and after that. He's stoned out of his mind. he listens to this lady asking him, where the campus is, and instead is like, "Can you blow me where the Pampers is?"
Yeah.
And
they just like, "Can you blow me where the Pampers is?" He's like,
is.
huh?
Yeah.
You would have to be really, really fucking high to have somebody talk to you that way,
Just
and
one
you not
hit to
understand
brighten up her
that.
day. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, I could also see him having the dream because, well, we don't know what kind of. Well, he's a music major, so it would have been better if he was like a political major or something like that.
Right.
But him having a dream like that while you're high, it could definitely happen, right?
Has it happened to you?
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, okay.
All the time.
Because you seem like you're speaking with first-hand knowledge.
First-hand knowledge about.
Didn't exhale?
Yeah.
I didn't exhale.
Wasn't that? And I think that was a rip on our.
I didn't inhale. It's Clinton.
Vice
It's
president.
ripping on Clinton.
No, it's Clinton.
Was
I
it
didn't
Clinton?
inhale.
Yeah, it's Clinton. Yeah.
I didn't inhale.
Famously, he said he didn't inhale.
Whatever.
Right.
Because I didn't exhale.
Which we all know that's bullshit.
Well, of course. I like the Elvis Costello music.
Yeah.
All of the music from this movie is great. And did you see that the music producer of this movie was Stevie Vai?
Yeah, Steve Vai. I frequent his restaurant. So.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What restaurant's that?
Vi's.
Oh, the Italian restaurant?
Yeah, that's Steve Vai's.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
I've
Steve
been there
Vai's.
once.
Yeah, it's Steve Vai's restaurant. He's not
it's a good
there,
restaurant.
but it's his restaurant.
Good
You think it'd
to know.
have like a rock and roll theme, but no.
Food's good there, though.
Yeah.
But as we're saying, them getting locked in and Afternoon Delight being played at max volume.
Funny.
Right.
So funny.
I do love the fact that they had the club. Remember the club?
Yes, the old
Right, the
club,
club.
yes.
And they broke into the car and it's sitting there in its own packaging.
It's
And
his own packaging.
He's
This
like,
is good.
"Oh,
Yeah.
this is good."
Yeah.
So these are the little funny little things that are being thrown in. They're not crazy, but they're just fun enough to keep it going.
Yeah.
And if you're our age, it's nostalgia.
I like Afternoon Delight as a song. It's
You know,
I don't mind it.
70s.
Even if you don't know the song, a good prank is a good prank.
Everybody knows this song.
Yes.
Hey, come on now.
Skyrockets in flight.
It's like the dating song. Do you like walking on the beach? Oh, what's
The Pina Colada song?
Yes, the Pina Colada song.
Dun, dun,
If you like
dun,
pina
dun,
coladas,
All I know
getting
is
caught in the rain.
listening to this song
Rupert Holmes.
when I was a kid
Yeah.
and not knowing the meaning of it. I just
sure.
heard,
It wasn't
skyrockets and
it wasn't until I heard it in Good Will Hunting that I got it.
I heard that at a McDonald's a couple weeks ago in their overhead
Oh,
music. Yes.
Because 90% of the people don't get it.
They had XM radio on. They had the blend,
Yeah.
and it was playing. I'm like, I know this song.
This is awful.
Yes.
This is awful forward for a
right.
McDonald's.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised I got the kind of airplay that it
In
got.
the 70s,
I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't.
Here again, people didn't get it.
Pretty blatant.
And it is a nice, light, airy tune.
It is. Yes, it is. Nice
And
harmonies.
it's perfect for the time it was released.
Very much so.
I mean, it's that Christopher Cross, the whole vibe.
I love Christopher Cross.
We know
And-
you do.
Poor guy, man. Walked away with everything in the 1980 awards. Everything: best song, best album, best new artist. And then next year, it's like Christopher who?
Here today, gone tomorrow.
Pretty much.
So with this movie, they try to get this party. The party's not going on. They try to get flyers off, but Moonbeam doesn't allow them to put the flyers on the trees.
So he just give
And
up.
then the other two electrocute themselves almost to death.
Yes.
Because
The two band guys. Yeah.
that was kind of funny.
A little bit.
Yeah, because he
And she's like-
bypasses the fuse and hooks the wires directly up.
This is where you get the payoff for everybody chasing Tom around. He runs into is it Katie, right?
Right.
And she's
With the
not
three
been able-
exchange
she-
students.
She's been able to find the 3 exchange students
Yes.
to bring to the party.
Yes.
And of course, he has everybody in the whole school chasing him.
And of course, the
That's
3
where it
exchange
pays off.
students are dressed into
Stereotypically, yes.
Stereo-
Yes.
Stereotypical.
It's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got like
One
Swiss
one
Miss.
girl's in her Holland.
Yes.
And then you have the the wominists that are boycotting in the front, they're singing this penis party has to go.
Hey, ho, ho.
Ho, ho.
Oh,
And they walk in with Kumbaya. Yes,
right.
It's amazing how they miraculously change their tune and follow
Exactly.
them singing
Right,
Kumbaya.
It's because nobody can say no
Right.
to George Clinton.
Well, they didn't know George Clinton was there.
He brings everybody together.
Okay.
He's the man.
Good
Dad,
evening.
I've known you for 20 years. You've never brought George Clinton up once during our 20-year time frame.
You know,
Not
it's because we've never really talked about funk, man.
George Clinton doesn't come up in the
Because
conversation very often.
I love George Clinton. Of course, and George Clinton was featured prominently as a secret character in NBA Jam.
A secret character, player,
Mhm. Yeah.
or background music.
You had to know the code.
The George Clinton code.
to unlock him as a character in NBA Jam. Yeah. Clinton,
Tom-
George Clinton's awesome. I mean,
we're not saying that he's not
he's
awesome.
A great,
it makes the movie, especially the party, work, and I agree with you on that.
Exactly.
But I don't think he saves this movie.
We're all
by
thankful
any
it's
means.
not the Goo Goo Dolls. We can all agree
Yes.
on that.
We're all very. They might as well just go get Nickelback at that point.
Wow. All right, everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, everybody's having a good time, and then of course the principal, the dean, has to come in and ruin everything.
And of course, Moonbeam is there. She's got that look on her face.
Right.
She's
Moonbeam.
Moonbeam.
I'm disappointed in you.
They're all there.
It's the right amount of time to let the party get to the viewer. You
I
know,
love
we
it
don't
that
spend a lot of time.
They're charging people to use the bathroom.
4 to sit, 2 to stand.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah.
And they're only giving out like four,
Right, just little
four squares of
yeah.
toilet paper. Yeah,
Well, that toilet wasn't in proper shape to begin with. As
Right.
George Clinton and his group
Yes.
basically
we'll
said.
hold it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wonder how big that bathroom is because they had George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic all in there. They all came out of the bathroom at the same
All
time.
the ladies, all the guys.
well, yeah.
everyone.
It's here again. That's a joke too. It's
Yeah.
kind of like clowns in a VW Beetle.
His real gutter is just he doesn't know who they are. They have to tell him who he brought, and then when he announces them on the
He's
on
like,
the stage,
he
has
doesn't
to
even
be
know who they
reminded.
are, which I think is funny too.
and you finish it up with Stomp, and Stomp is a great one to kind of segue to President Garcia Thompson coming in.
Because she stomps on the party.
Right.
And then you have Gutter, who he jumps into the crowd, but of course the crowd stops, because of President
And it's
Garcia.
right on the ground. Yeah.
He gets up, he's got all that dirt all over his chest. That's kind of a little bit of disgusting. He's got all everything
Nobody
all over his
wants
chest.
to be on the floor of a party, though.
No. And then they try to get Tom and Katie, together.
This
and they make out a little
is
bit.
when I started to root for Tom, and I
When
thought
he was
we were
making out
going
with Katie.
and thought we were going to get to see some bow chicka bow wow, but of course no.
I guess it was a romantic scene that was supposed to be done, but
There
they decided
was.
to
It
cut
was
it.
part of the rated R version.
Yes. Which is
I don't
out
know.
there or is not out there?
I guess it's not out
It's
there.
not out there.
I don't think it ever got filmed.
Okay.
No,
So-
it got filmed.
Did it get filmed?
No, yeah, it's all.
I thought
it all
the director
got cut.
said he regretted it not filming it. I thought I read somewhere.
It's on
But
the
I could
cutting
be
room
wrong.
floor somewhere.
The studio made him cut it.
Yeah, but based on what the rest of the movie is, it doesn't fit if you have hardcore nudity and
Well, we're not saying it needed to turn into a porn movie,
no.
but I mean,
Their
seeing him become a man. I mean, hey.
their relationship doesn't really work throughout the movie because of
She
fact
works
that
for me. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, I'm not saying that she's not pretty. Their relationship, it's 24 hours, and they barely have seen each other throughout the whole movie.
Because he's
So,
being chased by
you
everyone.
You didn't go to a whole lot of college parties, did you?
I know what you're saying. You can hook up.
Still got to
I
keep
get
it
that.
PG-13. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
It's
Should've
all
based
right.
on-
This movie shouldn't have been PG-13
but for a PG-13 movie, it does a good job.
because I guess in the other version
More
there's
swearing.
more cursing
Yes.
and it's more realistic
Realistic,
to real life.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want this movie to be realistic. I want it to be kind of
Okay.
a stupid out there movie.
All right.
Are you saying this movie doesn't work?
No, I
No.
like it for what it is, but it could have been elevated and could have been better.
But this is a kind of a movie that I think since there isn't cursing and since there isn't any nudity and things of that nature, I think it's one of those movies that has aged well based on that.
Okay.
This is one of the few movies like school movies, like Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds, this one that we're doing. This one has aged better throughout the years because of what you said. It kind of tackles things that were ahead of its time.
I still think Animal House is the cream of the crop.
Well, of course. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a comedy goes, well, they were doing two different things. Animal House was doing straight for laughs. There was no real political agenda. This one actually got an agenda, and it's basically saying, hey, we're all in this together. Stop this separation, all this crap, and I think it works. Granted, it's a little hokey. At the same time, I think in general it works, and it's very disappointing that this movie cannot be streamed now, because I think if people watch this movie today, I think it's more relevant today than it probably was in '93.
No, you're probably right.
I mean that's what I've been saying. It's just the streaming issue. Like I said, it has to be with licensing of the music.
Something.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no reason.
I know when this was released, it was on HBO a lot on cable.
Right.
I'm surprised it wasn't on Max. But I don't know if I buy in the music thing, just because it comes and goes.
Licensing rights for music is such a touchy thing now. Getting the right to be able to stream something like that is so difficult nowadays. It's a complete headache.
Did this movie stick the landing? Let's find out. Tom informs Draws about an overheard conversation with the Board of Trustees. The president's politically correct changes are negatively affecting both their past legacy and the media publicity, and they want to get her out if she messes up something really big. At the bicentennial ceremony the following morning, Draws and former pit residents succeed in liberating the whooping crane and provoking the other students into an impromptu protest against protesting, chanting, "We're not going to protest." The demonstration establishes that the president cannot control the student population, resulting in the Board of Trustees similarly firing her. Meanwhile, Rand goes on a rather sexist, racist, and homophobic tirade about all the other student groups, unaware that Draws has surreptitiously used a podium microphone to broadcast his rant to the entire campus. Later, Tom heads home, having decided to commit to PCU as the pit has moved back into their house. As he sits on the bus, he sees Rand, who is now in Tom's position at the beginning of the film, being chased by the students across campus. Funny scene indeed. I like the ending when they're bringing the crane up on stage and hilarity ensues.
I don't know. I kind of wish that there would have been some other way for them to crash the bicentennial.
Well, they didn't really crash it. They were all attending it, but to get on stage, right?
It would have been cool if George Clinton would have been involved with them derailing the bicentennial celebration. Jeremy Piven or Draws' speech, it's kind of it didn't do it for me. It didn't kill the movie or anything for me at all, but it's just kind of there. It didn't make me laugh one way or the other.
It didn't? Really? The whole scene?
No. Yeah.
Like when he's going on his political or when he's going on his rant about all the groups?
That made me laugh.
Okay.
Yes, because that's funny. And to be caught saying it is even funnier. And then him becoming, Tom. Yuck. And it's quite obvious he's not going to get away. Because they're starting to overtake David Spade as that bus is pulling away.
Right. Which I think is funny.
Yeah.
It's the perfect little rant that Jeremy Piven can pull off.
It kind of undersells the people and their different causes because they all just we're not going to protest anymore. Okay. All right, I get you.
Well,
we're not
going to protest. That he wanted them to protest. It wasn't that he didn't want them to protest. He wanted them to protest.
Protest the protesting.
Gutter is a tool.
And this is what gets her fired because she can't control the students.
Yeah, see, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I understand what you mean by the speech. But it's the speech that we're getting in every movie. It's the speech that we get in Revenge of the Nerds,
Of course.
right? So it's always that, come together type of speech. It's of course done better in Animal House when they're like,
Exactly.
Germans bomb Pearl Harbor,
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So it could have been funnier, but it's not bad. I like it when the bird is taking a dump on the
Salad
cake,
bar?
it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
And then you have the lady that's doing the sign language,
Yes.
and she's like,
The pillow
so-
huggers. Yeah.
The pillow biters.
Pillow biters. Yes.
Which
But
I haven't heard that term in a long, long time.
Yeah.
probably 30 years, probably.
Yeah.
So-
Right when this movie was out, right?
It does what it needs to do. Is it the best ending? No. And I think sometimes these type of movies, these type of beat the establishment type of movies have this problem at the end where they don't know what to do with their last 5 to 10 minutes of their films. They go back to the pit and they talk about possibly initiating Tom.
Yes.
So then Tom's bus shows up, I guess. So
Just relax.
just relax.
Yes.
And Gutter puts on the plastic glove.
Yeah.
Right.
They had to figure out a way to end it, and they
No sequel,
It's like
huh?
I said, it's-
no
it's far
talk of
from
a
a-
sequel.
it's far from a bad job.
No.
There's really
no.
nowhere else for this movie to go. I mean, what do you?
Year 2.
Yeah, but you've already lost the characters that make this thing go.
Right.
I mean, unless Spade comes back for another year.
New president.
And Revenge of David Spade.
Right. Another little
And, yeah,
Reaganite. Yeah.
Try to figure a way for the president to get back her job or something. But Draws is gone. He's the one that makes the pit work. I just don't see the pit working after this.
Why is
Who's
Draws
taking over,
Why is
Tom?
Draws gone?
He's graduating.
Is he?
He already said. Yeah, he said he's
Oh.
graduating.
Oh, that's right. And he walks off with his new girlfriend.
Yeah,
His old girlfriend.
Which his girlfriend car
Carter.
got.
Her aunt's car.
Her aunt's car got
Yes,
totaled
yes.
because they thought it was David Spade's.
Right.
vehicle.
Yeah, that's pretty
So-
funny. That I was like, oh, okay, I got you.
Actually, that was pretty cool that they did that. I like the twist on that. It would have been funnier if she would have if she found out, and then he had to play off that somebody else might have done it. I don't know.
What I would have found funnier is if the BMW, which is exactly like Rand's, was the Dean's, and that he has the exact same car as the Dean, considering how they've intertwined the two of them into this quasi love type of a thing.
Yes.
That would have made me laugh harder.
Yeah, I still like it. It's the girlfriend's aunt. So I think that's different.
Yeah, it made me laugh. It was fine.
It was.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's fine.
No complaints
the
on the
ending's just
ending.
fine. It's no complaints.
Yeah, like you said, there's not much you can really do to wrap it up.
I mean, outside of going full Animal House,
Right. Blowing up the
I
place.
mean,
yeah.
which is where my idea of George Clinton, the P Funkadelic, come out and bust up her bicentennial thing
By playing music.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Nah.
And this wouldn't have gotten a sequel anyway because of how much money it made at the box office.
That's a
This
good
was-
point. It bombed.
This was a rental cable type of movie where people were watching it crazy. I remember in '95, people that I knew that were in their 20s were talking about this movie all the time.
So
They
it's
were
a
quoting
cult
lines.
classic.
Yeah, people
I'm
knew about this
surprised.
movie.
I'm surprised we didn't watch this in college. I'm so surprised we didn't watch this as like a senior in high school.
Hey, 95. I was 20.
I was 23.
Yeah.
I
I was
was
a
just out of
freshman. Freshman high school.
Yeah. This movie is like in my wheelhouse because I watched this on cable at probably 1:00 in the morning. I don't remember the date. I just know that it was at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning after I was at the bar scene, coming home and watching this and kind of relating to these people because they were roughly my age.
And they were drunk and stoned,
They were
just
drunk
like
and
Drunk
you.
and stoned and stupid.
All right. Well, should we talk about our reviews?
You bet.
do
Let's
it.
get into
Let's
it.
do it. Let's start with Ken.
This is a great movie for me. This is a movie that I was so happy to review that I went out and I bought Ted a copy. That's how much I wanted to watch this movie.
We were
with
kind
you
of stuck
guys.
between a rock and a hard place on that one too. So
There was like a really bad version on YouTube that he could have watched, but
Yeah.
I'm like, Ted, I'm buying you this copy, and you're gonna watch this film. I think he wasn't sure if he wanted that to happen, but I made that happen. It hit me at the right time. This movie was a movie that I needed when it came out. Like I said, I was around 23 years old. I was living with a roommate, trying to figure out my life and stuff. And this was a comedy that really did it for me. I like the fact that this comedy isn't very vulgar and that I could watch it with my kids when they were younger. I think it's one of those movies that succeeds in doing something that rarely happens. This movie is closer to a PG than it is a rated R film. So
it's probably the drinking and the drugs that bring it up to a
to the
PG-13
level.
Yeah.
And even those are kind of background type of things. This is a 4.5 hook movie for me.
Woo,
I know that
sounds
high. I know that sounds overrated.
Citizen Kane material.
It probably is overrated. It probably shouldn't be that high, but it is, because every time I see this movie, and I want to see it again. And it's one of those movies that I don't mind looking for in my collection and putting it in the player, because I'm not going to be able to find it streaming anywhere. But if it ever comes on streaming, I'll probably even watch it even more, because then I don't even have to get up and get the movie to put it into the system.
True that.
Yeah. Jeremy Piven does a great job here. He's very funny. He is that guy that just makes everything work. David Spade is perfect. This is kind of what the kind of characters David Spade is born to play.
Yeah, it's like Just Shoot Me character. That sarcastic little weenie or Weasley kind of character. He's perfect for it. This movie for me is a favorite of mine. Why I only have it on VHS, I don't know, but maybe I'll have to go out and get a better copy of it. But I love this movie. I'm glad we did it. I enjoyed watching it again. It brought back all the great memories, the cast. It's just a great movie from A to Z. I watched it all the way through. I don't know if it's 4.5 hooks, but I'm teetering between 4 and 4.25. I'm going to go 4.25 hooks. It's pretty high up there. How about you, Ted? First time you've seen it, so I'm curious.
First time I saw it, I thoroughly enjoy it. It reminds me a lot of like watching like Dazed and Confused and movies like that. It's, in my opinion, it's not as good as Dazed and Confused, but it's fun. It follows the Animal House playbook, but it's just modern enough that it's like, oh, I got you. I see what you're doing here, and it's fun. And like I said, I'm totally surprised that I didn't watch this my senior year of high school. Completely surprised we didn't watch it in college. It's Jeremy Piven at one of his most un-Jeremy Piven-like roles, or how he is in real life. Having Jon Favreau there is fun too. It's like, okay, it's cool. And you guys are right. This is David Spade. This is the David Spade that we remember from Saturday Night Live before he became warm and fuzzy in Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. For me, 3.5 hooks. It's perfectly there.
Only 3.5?
Yeah, I mean,
That's fine.
It's cool. I will watch it again.
Well, you should. You own it now.
I do own it because somebody was gracious enough to purchase it for me. We'll put it this way. It was better than what I thought I was getting into. And it's so much better than Revenge of the Nerds. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It is so refreshing to have a movie that is fun and that I could relate to, because I remember going to college right around this time. It's like, okay. It's like a warm blanket. It's like going back home again.
Well, there you go.
Back in time.
That's the end of our Going Back to School series here. We're going to shift gears going back, about 150 years, Ken?
Somewhere around there, probably 140.
What's our next movie?
We're going to do Tombstone.
Tombstone.
One of the greatest movies ever made.
Well, there you go. There's Ted's review right up front.
One of our friends of the podcast talking about Tombstone being her favorite movie, and we said, hey, we're going to do that movie.
All right. Tombstone. Great cast, great movie.
You tell them I'm coming.
That's right.
And hell's coming with me.
Hopefully you've all seen it out there, and if you haven't, this is your opportunity to watch it and then listen.
Sure you can find that one streaming.
That's pretty easy to find.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
That's right. Go out there and watch Tombstone. As always, why so serious?
See you at the movies.
See you next time on Hooked on Movies.